BatManMcgrath, Episode 1. Another origin story. So, I guess I should start at the beginning. In the beginning, God said, "Let there be light." What? Was that too far back? You sure? I mean, a lot of really, really cool things happen in between the beginning of the universe and the end of the universe, and no, you okay? All right. I won't go as far back. So, one night down in Mexico, my mom, who was young and drunk, caught the eye of a strapping donkey show trainer, and then they went and oh, is that still too far back? I mean, that is a pretty interesting story, but no. Okay. My name is Batman McGrath. Is that my real name? No. My real name is Antonio Hernandez. But that's not as sexy. Also, that name died the night my family died. Yeah, that's right. It's another tragic origin story. But don't worry. I'll try and make this one funny. You know, it shouldn't be too hard to find humor in my family being brutally murdered in front of my eyes and stuff like that. Anyways, I was living in Gotham City with my wife and two daughters. Why anybody would want to live in that cesspool of a shit town is lost on me. I was only there because my wife was born in Gotham, and for some god-awful reason, she loved that city. Maybe that's why Felicia was with me. She loved shitty pieces of trash. But even though that city was dark, even during the day, my wife always made it shine, like we were in the country on a farm. At the time, I was working at Arkham Asylum as a guard. The guy who hired me was pretty much begging me to take the job because of my military background. Arkham Asylum, pretty much a revolving door for the murderous insane. I'd been working there for about 3 to 6 months when he showed up. The Bat. I remember hearing patients crying about this giant bat that attacked them. Most of the guards would tease them and terrorize them by dressing up as bats, even yelling, "Look out behind you!" And a lot of stupid shit like that. Doctors all said it was some sort of mass hysteria or some shit. I don't know. It was just stupid shit is all I heard. But almost a year after the rumors started, he finally revealed himself, and man, did it turn Gotham upside down. Most thought he was a loon. Some thought he was some sort of savior. The only thought in my mind was, what kind of man would try and take on the crime in Gotham? But I'm not gonna lie. This fat shit got swept up in all the excitement. Ah, hell, the fucker inspired me! One night, I went home pissed off, because they let another psycho out on the streets, even though he was cutting himself up and carving up women and all sorts of shit. But the doctors at Arkham didn't care. They weren't paid enough to care, or at least so they said. I walked into my place, and even though I was so pissed off at the fucking shit that happened, it always filled me with joy seeing my two girls sitting there watching Dragon Ball or some other anime. Oh yeah, spoiler alert. I'm a giant nerd, and by proxy, so are my little girls. Samantha, the oldest, man, she loved playing video games with me. And Brittany, the youngest, man, she just loved cartoons and comics and animes and just all sorts of stuff like that. It was awesome. It's because of them I decided to join in that fucker's crusade. I told my wife, I can't stay at that hellhole and be a part of the problem anymore. Oh yeah, this one was a great one. With my training, I could do a lot to help him. Oh yeah, that one was a good one. But even though my wife knew it was a horrible idea, she supported me. Helped me make my costume, which was a trench coat, some body armor I borrowed from work, and a ski mask. Looked more like a homeless flasher during the winter than I did a masked vigilante. So the night finally came, where I decided I would go out and help clean up this city. My wife gave me one last look over, made sure my vest was on tight and straight. I looked in her eyes, and I told her I loved her. She smiled and said she loved me back, and we had one last kiss, and then I went off on my way. I got on top of a rooftop, which, BTW, harder than you fucking think. And I started looking around for my first bad guy to fight. At first there was nothing. Nowhere. All was quiet. Went to different rooftops, looked around through binoculars, trying to find something. It was around 1 a.m., and I was starting to think, maybe I should go home, call it quits. That's when I saw some fancy dressed men talking to what looked like some type of a street thug walking to an alleyway. Now, I'm not one to profile per se, but I knew they were not up to anything good. So I moved into a better position right above them and I watched. At first, they were just shooting the shit, talking about sports and nonsense. But then this white van pulls in and they stop talking shit and they start talking business. Alright, because of the bat going around and fucking up our operation, the price has gone up to $1,000 a key, one of the fancies say. A fucking grand a key? Are you fucking playing me? The thug replied. That grand doesn't just get you drugs, but it also gets you extra protection from the bat. Now, do you want it or not? The thug dude looks around, thinking it over for a little bit, and then finally, fuck it, fine. He walks over to this trash can and pulls out this duffel bag and throws it to the ground. They open the van and start chucking out bags. The thug opens a bag and pulls out a white brick, and he then pulls out a switchblade and does the whole cliche stab the brick and do the drug thing. We know that part. So I figured now was my time. I climb down the other side of the building, go over, get into position, and I take a deep breath, ready myself, then jump in the alleyway. Freeze! Put your hands up, bitch! Not my proudest of lines. They look around at each other and laugh, and then pull out guns and start firing. I jump back behind the corner, catch my breath. I can feel my blood pumping, heart racing. Feels like I'm back in Iraq. Oh, this is fucking liberating. I pop off a couple blind fire shots around the corner. I hear one of them scream in pain and the pitter-patter of the other's feet as they quickly find cover. I replace those spent shells and then go back into the alleyway, start popping off shots, keeping them behind cover so I can get in close and end this quick. I get to the guy I shot. Turned out to be the thug. Apparently I got him in the leg, and man, does it look bad. If he ends up keeping the leg, he sure ain't walking right anymore. I smack him with the butt of the gun and knock him out. Then one of the fancies comes from behind the van. I shoot my last round and nick him in the arm. Another one comes from the other side of the van, and I swing the shotgun like a baseball bat, knocking him out instantly. I take another deep breath, taking in all of this. I feel so alive right now. I turn around to look to see if I can find any other fancies, but all I find is the barrel of a gun. I blink, and in that instant, I see everything, every moment that led up to that point. Meeting my wife, getting married, both my kids being born, and then, bang! I open my eyes and I see him, the Batman. Oh, it was glorious. He took all of them on using only his hands, no guns, no weapons, just punching, kicking, using the fancies themselves as weapons. Oh, it was great. He turns to me, and I go to thank him, but before I can even get the T sound out, he grabs me and pulls me right to his face. I ever find you out here again, I'll let them kill you before I put them down. He then tosses me back, and I fall into some trash cans. When I look up, he's gone. I hear the sirens of the police, and I decide I should probably leave before they come asking questions. While on my walk home, I keep playing back what happened in that alley, what it felt like looking down that barrel, what I thought while looking down that barrel, and how happy I am to be alive. So happy, Gotham is even starting to shine and brighten up instead of being so dark and gloomy. I walk through my front door, and I yell for my wife. Oh my God, Felicia, you will not believe what happened. I met him. I actually fucking met him. He saved my life. Oh, honey, you were right. I shouldn't have gone out. I shouldn't have even tried to be like him. I was so stupid. I grab a beer out of the fridge, and I yell for my wife again, and I hear nothing back. I walk into our living room, and I see my family tied up and gagged. Then I feel this sharp pain in my lower back. I feel my back and it's wet. I look at my hand and I see it covered in blood. I turn around and I see that fucking psycho those bullshit fucking doctors let out because they didn't fucking care. Instantly, without thinking, I take a swing and clock him right in the jaw. But in doing so, I lose my own balance and fall to the ground. He gets up, laughing, grabs me, slams me up against the wall, and jams his huge knife through my shoulder, pinning me to the wall. He introduces himself as Victor Zaz. I stop listening at that point, because he starts cutting into my wife. My daughters start screaming and crying. I try and talk. I try and tell them that it'll be okay. Everything will be fine. But I can't talk. All I can do is just sit there and watch as he goes on about some stupid, self-righteous, psycho bullshit, carving up my family. He cuts 3 lines into his chest, tells me my family will always be close to his heart. And then, out of nowhere, Batman crashes through my window, tackling Zaz. Batman gets up, sees my family dead, and then goes into this fucking primal rage, breaking Zaz's arms and legs, punching him repeatedly, blood going everywhere with every single hit. Batman stops in the middle of his frenzy and looks at me. I think he's even more pissed that I'm there than he is Zaz. He grabs the knife in my shoulder and gets right in my face and just starts yelling at me.
This is your fault. If I wasn't saving you, I would have saved them. I told you I didn't want to see you again, and here you are. They died because of you. You can't be me. Stop trying.
As he's yelling at me, I just stare at him, expressionless, emotionless. If I had to pick a time, I would say this is where Antonio Hernandez died. And I became an empty shell. He lets go of the knife and then leaves. Zaz, while broken and beaten, still has the ability to laugh and talk about how it felt killing my family and how Batman was right. So the cops show up, take Zaz away. EMTs unpin me to the wall and take me to the hospital. After a couple of days, cops question me about what happened, and I tell them everything. Everything else just kind of blurs together in one giant day up to the funeral. I stand at the graves of my family. Seems like minutes, but turns out to be hours. While I'm standing there thinking about every stupid decision I made leading up to that moment, I hear a voice from behind me.
I'm sorry about your family. I didn't.
I turn around and deck the person talking, not realizing it was Batman. Once I notice, I tell him to go fuck himself, and then I walk off. I don't stop by my home to get any mementos. Everything I need to remember my family, I have with me. I just walk and keep walking, and I don't stop. I'm just trying to get as far away from Gotham as I can. Far away from that shitty city. Far away from that shitty asylum. And far away from that shitty bat. Alright, that is the end of Batman McGrath episode 1. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please give it a like, share, and please subscribe. It'd be really awesome. You can also follow me at BatmanMcGrath1 on Twitter. If Twitter ever unbans my actual main account, that's at MrBubbles4200. So, yeah. Quick thing. For future episodes, I don't know if I'm going to try and act out every single piece of dialogue. But, if I think I could do it, I will. I kind of feel the thugs and fancies were kind of silly the way I, tried to do it. It was the best I could do. Not my best Batman, but, it works for this. But, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and you have a nice day.